Olivia peered out of her classroom window. 25 years teaching history at this institute had made it her second home. A call interrupted her thoughts. An unknown Greek number appeared on the screen. Mrs. Olivia Burns, asked a formal voice. Heavily accented English. Yes, this is she, Olivia replied, inexplicably excited. My name is Nicholas Papadopoulos. I represent a notary in Athens. I'm calling about your Aunt Eleni Contarini. Olivia felt a pang in her heart. Aunt Eleni, her mother's sister, was her only link to the family's Greek roots. Has something happened to her? She asked, already knowing the answer. Unfortunately, Mrs. Contarini passed away last week, Nicholas said, sounding sincerely apologetic. She left you a legacy, the Blue Lagoon Hotel on the coast. Olivia sank into her chair. Memories of summer holidays at the small family hotel flooded back, the scent of bougainvillea in the courtyard. The laughter of holidaymakers. Aunt Eleni's warm embrace. But why me? She asked, confused. The will states you are the only one who understands the true value of this place. On the way home, Olivia tried to process everything. How would she tell Anthony? Lately, their relationship had become strained. He worked late increasingly often, was irritable, and constantly talked about money, despite his successful construction business. When she entered their apartment, Anthony was already home unusually early. He stood before the living room mirror, meticulously examining his reflection and adjusting the collar of his new designer shirt. You're home early, Olivia said, trying to hide her surprise. Ah, you're back, he replied distractedly, still preening. How are the teenagers? Did they give you a hard time? Olivia felt a familiar bitterness. When had Anthony last genuinely cared about her work? Her feelings? Aunt Eleni died, she said bluntly, watching his reaction. Anthony finally turned from the mirror. Who? Oh, that Greek aunt. I'm sorry, dear. His voice was mechanical, devoid of genuine compassion. By the way, I was thinking about our savings. She left you a hotel. Anthony interrupted. Olivia said, the Blue Lagoon. This finally captured his full attention. A familiar gleam appeared in his eyes the way he looked at potentially lucrative construction projects. A hotel? That old beach house? This could be a great opportunity. We could sell it. It's a good location. Olivia stepped back. I haven't even had time to grieve my aunt's death. And you're already talking about selling it? Anthony did what he did best lately, rolled his eyes. Olivia, be realistic. What are you going to do with a hotel in Greece? You're a history teacher. Your place is here, in the classroom. He moved closer, putting his hands on her shoulders. We need money for our future. Or yours, she whispered. You know this hotel is part of my family's history. History doesn't pay the bills. Darling, his voice became condescending, as if speaking to a child. Think of it as an investment in our future. By the way, I'm having dinner with potential partners tonight. Don't wait up. He kissed her cheek and left, leaving a trail of expensive perfume. Olivia watched him go, a heavy ball of emotion growing in her chest. When had their marriage become this? When had Anthony cared more about his reflection than their relationship? She picked up her phone and called her daughter. Sophia. Hi, honey, I have news. It's not good news. Her daughter's voice, so much like her own when she was younger, comforted her. What's wrong, Mom? You sound upset. Aunt Eleni died. Olivia felt tears welling up. Do you remember her? You used to play at her hotel when you were little. Oh, Mom. Sophia's voice was filled with sincere compassion. I'm so sorry. I remember her delicious cookies and her stories about the Greek gods. She was special. Yes, she was. Olivia wiped her tears. She left me a hotel. Can you imagine? And your father is already talking about selling it. There was a brief silence on the line. Don't rush into decisions, Mom, Sophia finally said. You always told me the most important decisions shouldn't be made on the day of big news. Maybe I should come see you this weekend. Are you busy with work? I'll always find time for you. Besides, she sounded playful. I want to hear all the details about the hotel. Remember how we used to dream of living there? After talking to her daughter, Olivia went out onto the balcony. Below, the life of the tourist city was in full swing. Tourists hurried to dinner, locals returned from work, and music spilled from a nearby cafe. She looked at the sea, shimmering under the setting sun, and thought of Aunt Eleni. Her independence, how she had managed the hotel alone after her husband's death, her wise advice, and warm hugs. Life is too short to live other people's dreams. Agapimu, her aunt used to say. Olivia didn't know what this unexpected inheritance held, but for the first time in a long time, she felt something had to change, and perhaps those changes would begin with the Blue Lagoon. 2 weeks passed since the news of the inheritance. Olivia sat in Marie's office after school. They had met 15 years ago when Marie started teaching art at her institute. They were best friends. He bought a new watch, Olivia said, mechanically stirring her long cold coffee. Says a grateful client gave it to him. Marie raised an eyebrow. A Rolex? That's a rather generous gift from a client. Don't you think? Well, I thought so. Olivia put down her cup. But when I tried to ask for details, he got angry, said I was controlling him. Business trips. Marie pushed a plate of cookies towards her friend. The third this month. Says there's a promising project in Milan. Marie frowned. His company doesn't work abroad. Olivia shook her head. Not before, but he says it's a new opportunity to develop the business. Marie's classroom smelled of paint and fresh clay. The walls were lined with students' artwork, bright, sincere, full of life. Olivia often came here when she needed advice or just some peace. You know what worries me most? Olivia asked. He's become obsessed with money. He's always talking about financial security. How we need to think about the future. That's why he insists on selling the hotel. Yesterday, he brought some calculations, showed me how much we could get for the Blue Lagoon. He didn't even ask if I wanted to keep it. Marie rose and went to the window. I don't know, Olivia. It's part of your history. You know, Aunt Eleni created something special there. People returned year after year. It wasn't just a hotel. Sophia's coming this weekend. She wants to see the documents and talk to me about it. Suddenly, Olivia's phone vibrated. A message from Anthony. Don't wait for dinner. Important meeting with investors. Marie noticed her friend's face change again. Late again? An important meeting? Olivia tried to smile, but it was unconvincing. He even smells different. New perfume. Been hitting the gym. Changed his wardrobe. A classic midlife crisis? Something's wrong here. Olivia pulled an envelope from her bag. I found this in his jacket when I took it to the dry cleaners. Marie opened it. A restaurant receipt from an expensive Milanese restaurant. Dinner for two. The date? A week ago. At least that's what it says. Olivia added. Marie sat beside her friend. You know what this means. Right, but I don't want to believe it. 25 years. Marie, we've been together for 25 years. The classroom fell silent. Outside the window, students returned from practice. Laughter and snippets of conversation drifted in. What are you going to do? Marie asked. Nothing yet. First, I want to sort out the hotel. I'm flying to Greece next week. I have some documents to sign. He doesn't know. I said it was a study trip. Olivia smiled bitterly. For the first time in our marriage, I lied to him. That night, Olivia sat for a long time in the empty apartment, looking at old photos of the Blue Lagoon. There was Sophia, still small, building sandcastles, Anthony, tanned and laughing, Aunt Eleni on the hotel terrace in her favorite blue dress. A call interrupted her memories. Mom, Sophia's voice was worried. Are you okay? It's been a difficult day. Dad's late again. He has an important meeting. You know. Sophia paused. I remember what Aunt Eleni used to say. Trust your heart. It never lies. Do you remember? Of course. I remember. You were only 10 years old. She was a wise woman. Mom, that's why she left you the hotel so you could choose. Olivia looked at the photograph of Aunt Eleni. She seemed to be winking. Maybe she was. Maybe you're right, honey. Maybe you're right. Anthony arrived home late that night, smelling of wine and unfamiliar perfume. He tried to be quiet but stumbled against the small table. Darling, are you awake? He asked, seeing the kitchen light. Just reviewing my exams, Olivia replied, looking at the unnecessary pile of notebooks in front of her. How did the meeting go? Great. Everything will change soon. You'll see. We'll have a new life. Us. Olivia thought but said nothing, watching him head to the bedroom, feeling that every step he took distanced them further. Olivia nervously tapped her fingers on the desk of the Athens notary. The plane had been delayed 3 hours, causing her to miss her first appointment. The notary had agreed to see her later, but now she was late for a second important meeting with the Blue Lagoon's manager. The elderly notary handed her a stack of papers. Here are all the hotel documents, last year's tax return, income, utility bills. Her phone vibrated. A message from Marie. Call me when you're free. It's important. After 2 hours of paperwork, Olivia left the office. The sun was already setting. She called Marie. Olivia, where are you? In Athens. Signing documents. Is something wrong? Are you sitting down? Marie said. Don't scare me. Remember Nina from accounting? She just showed me something interesting. Marie paused. Her daughter works at the Paradise Hotel. That's where Anthony holds his business meetings. Olivia felt a chill. And he's not alone? He's always accompanied by a young woman. Isabella, the hotel receptionist. Olivia sat on the nearest bench. Are you sure? A minute later, the message arrived. The photo showed Anthony in the Paradise Hotel restaurant. Beside him was a young woman with brown hair. They were holding hands and laughing. The date of the photo was 3 weeks ago. Olivia, are you there? Your voice sounds far away. How long has this been going on? According to Nina, over a year, a whole year of a double life. All those business trips, late meetings, new things. I have to go, she told Marie. I'll call you later. Olivia opened her browser and found the Paradise Hotel website. The site had photos of the staff. Isabella Rossi, the receptionist, 35 years old, beautiful, almost mechanically. She opened their joint bank account through the app. It all came tumbling out: expensive restaurants, boutique purchases, hotel bills, even jewelry bought on the same day he told Olivia they needed to save money. Her phone vibrated again. A message from Anthony. How are things in Athens? Don't forget to ask about the land deeds. It's important for the sale. Olivia looked at the message. And for the first time in a long time, she felt not pain, but rage, cold, pure anger. She called Marie. You're still at work? How are you? I need to gather all the evidence, receipts, photos, bank statements. Will you help me? Of course. What are you going to do? I don't know yet, but I'm not letting him take everything. Not this time. And the hotel, it's the only thing that truly belongs to me now. And I'm not giving it up. Olivia looked out at the sea. The blue lagoon was a few blocks away, her new beginning. Though she didn't know it yet. Olivia returned from Athens late in the afternoon. The apartment was empty and dark. A note lay on the counter. Anthony, Olivia said, placing the folder of hotel documents on the kitchen table. I have an urgent meeting. I'll be late. I hope you've taken care of all the paperwork. He switched on the light and sat down. Olivia pulled out her phone and looked at the photo she'd sent Marie, Anthony and Isabella. Happy and carefree in a restaurant. At 1 a.m., she heard the front door open. Anthony entered the kitchen and froze. Still awake? He asked. How was Athens? Fine, Olivia replied. And the meeting? Very good. I'm a little tired. He stiffened. The Paradise Hotel, where Isabella works. Anthony slowly sank into a chair. Who told you? Does it matter? Olivia placed the photo on the table. A year, Anthony. A whole year of lies. It's not what you think. What am I supposed to think? Her voice trembled. All the business trips, the late meetings, the new things. You bought her jewelry, took her to restaurants. Olivia, listen. I am listening. 25 years. Anthony, 25 years together, a daughter, and you? Her voice rose sharply. What did I do that was so terrible? Finding a woman who understands me, who cares for herself. Look at yourself, Olivia. Anthony said, you're trapped in the past. A history teacher living in other people's memories. When was the last time you went to the hairdresser? Bought something fashionable? Isabella, don't you dare. Olivia slammed her hand on the table. Don't you dare compare. Why doesn't she offend your sensibilities? She's young, successful, knows what she wants out of life. And you don't even want to sell this old hotel. An inheritance from your aunt. Anthony stood up. We need money. Olivia, money for what? For your new life with her. He laughed. You know what? Yes, for a new life. I'm tired, Olivia. Tired of you being right. Of this endless talk about the past. Your work at school. My work. Your work. It's a joke. A history teacher. You could have been something more. But you chose stability, security, boredom. Olivia looked at her husband and didn't recognize him. What had become of the young construction worker who had once fascinated her with his sincerity? Now you can choose. He leaned towards her. Sell the hotel. We'll get the money. Start over. I'll give you a chance to change everything. A chance. Give me a chance? Yes. Change. Olivia. Be different. Go to the gym. Change your wardrobe. Be the person I want you to be. And if you don't, then I'll ask for a divorce. And believe me, you won't get anything. Olivia stood up. I won't get anything. You won't get anything. The hotel is in my name. And I'm not selling it. You'll regret this. No, Anthony, you're the one who will regret this. Now get out of my kitchen. He laughed again. You really think you can live without me? Who are you without me? An old teacher with a useless hotel? I'd rather be an old teacher with a hotel than the wife of a liar. She looked at him intently. I'm giving you a week. Think it over. Either you sell the hotel and we start again. Or what? Or you're left alone with your memories and your hotel. A few minutes later, Olivia heard the front door slam. She sat in the dark kitchen, looking at the photo on her phone, not the one of Anthony and Isabella, but an old photo of the Blue Lagoon. Aunt Eleni standing on the terrace, smiling. Never let others decide your destiny. Agapimu. Her voice seemed to whisper from the past. A week passed after that night's conversation. Anthony didn't come home. He only sent a message. I hope you've made the right decision. Olivia sat in a cozy cafe with Marie and her friend Victoria, owner of a boutique chain. So your hotel is beachfront? Victoria asked, looking at the Blue Lagoon photos. And only 20 rooms? Yes. My aunt always said a small hotel has a special atmosphere. And she was right. Victoria took a sip of coffee. This type of hotel is very popular today. People are tired of big hotel chains. They're looking for something personal. Homey. But I don't know anything about the hospitality business, Olivia admitted. And I know someone who does. Marie smiled. Remember my cousin Laura? She advises hotels all along the coast. An hour later, Laura, an energetic 45-year-old woman, joined them. She studied the documents and photographs carefully. It's a wonderful place, she finally said. And you know what? It doesn't even need much renovation. Your aunt kept everything in good condition. She did. The bathrooms need updating, maybe the furniture in some rooms. But the basics are great. And the location is perfect. And the staff? Olivia asked. There's a list of employees in the documents. Most have been working there for years. That's very valuable. Victoria put her business card on the table. I know a great interior designer. She specializes in boutique hotels. And importantly, she knows how to create a special atmosphere without spending a lot of money. I'm not sure I can afford the renovation, Olivia admitted. I have a friend at the bank, Laura said. With a hotel like this and its profitability history, it won't be difficult to get a loan. Marie squeezed her friend's hand. See, everything is possible. The next day, Olivia met with the banker. The figures looked optimistic. The hotel had constant income and many regular clients. You know, the banker said, looking at the documents, family hotels like this are worth their weight in gold today. Especially with a history like this. After the bank, she met the designer, Christina, a young woman with a clear vision. The main thing is to preserve the soul of the place. To update but not destroy what your aunt created. I showed her several projects of similar hotels. Minimal changes, but a completely new look. And all this can be done in stages, without completely closing the hotel. That night, Olivia sat at home, spreading all the documents, business cards, and notes on the table. Her phone rang. Mom, how are you? Surprisingly well, honey. I met with a banker and a designer today. Seriously? Sophia sounded delighted. My mom is really doing this? Yes, for the first time in a long time. I feel it's right. And your father? Olivia sighed. He's still waiting for you to sell the hotel and start a new life, his version of a new life. You know, Sophia was silent. I remember when you used to tell us stories at the Blue Lagoon about Greek gods. About sailors. All the kids would gather on the terrace to listen. Aunt Eleni always said you made the hotel special. She did say that. Maybe that's why she left it to you. Late at night, Olivia reread the business plan Laura had helped her develop. Everything seemed real complicated, but real. Her phone vibrated again. A message from Anthony. Time's up. We'll talk about the sale tomorrow. Olivia looked at the documents in front of her, business cards of new friends. Strong and successful women who believed in her and her dream. She wrote a short reply. We need to talk. But not about the sale. Then she opened her laptop and began writing a letter to the Blue Lagoon's manager. She had a plan, and for the first time in a long time, she felt truly alive. Your husband came by yesterday, Nina's daughter said on the phone. They were arguing. Olivia was sitting in her classroom after school. It was raining outside the window. What were they arguing about? He promised to buy her an apartment. But something went wrong. She yelled that he was cheating on her. Olivia thanked her for the information and hung up. On the table lay documents from Laura. A plan for the hotel's reconstruction. The phone rang again. It was Marie. Marie, you always start like this. Bad news. Nina just brought the bank statement. You won't believe your husband's debts. Debts. We have a joint account. I would know. It's a different account. For his construction company. He's taken out huge loans. Olivia felt a chill. How much? Marie. Olivia clung to the table. How? Expensive restaurants, gifts, leisure, and something else. He bought an apartment 3 months ago. Yes, but he couldn't pay for it. That's why he's pressuring you to sell the hotel. A knock came on the classroom door. Sophia stood in the doorway. Mom, are you crying? Olivia hadn't even realized the tears falling from her eyes. After talking to Marie, Olivia told her daughter everything: the debts, the apartment, the fight in the restaurant. Sophia clenched her fists. He wanted to buy her an apartment with the money from your mother's hotel sale. You know, I saw him last week in town. Sophia sat next to her mother. Why didn't you tell me? He was with her at a jewelry store. I didn't know how to tell you. Olivia took her daughter's hand. It doesn't matter. Sophia stood up abruptly. He was lying to both of us. He pretended to be a caring father. But the door opened again. Anthony stood in the doorway. Oh, a family reunion, he tried. Don't call me honey. Sophia cut him off. And don't pretend to be interested. What does that mean? It means I know everything about Isabella. About the debts. About the apartment. Anthony froze. That's not what. What's not what we think? Sophia approached him. I saw you at the jewelry store. You bought her jewelry while telling your mother about your financial problems. Olivia stood up. Don't do that, Sophia. I have to do it. Someone has to tell him the truth. You know what he did with the money I lent him to develop his business. You lent him money? 10,000. He said it was for an important project. But the truth is, enough, Anthony barked. It's none of your business how I spend my money. Sophia laughed bitterly. You use my savings to buy your mistress gifts? She's not a mistress, Olivia whispered. Who is she? For whom did you take out a loan to buy an apartment? Anthony ran a hand through his face. Don't you understand? She's special. She sees the real me. The real you? Sophia shook her head. And what kind of real you is that? Dad, a liar, a spendthrift. Go, Olivia said suddenly. Please, go. But the hotel. Forget the hotel. I'm never selling it. Anthony looked at both of them. You'll both regret this. After he left, Sophia hugged her mother. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. I didn't want to hurt you. You're not the one hurting me. Olivia replied. You know what's worse? I don't even feel pain. Only relief. They sat in the empty classroom for a long time. Outside the window, the rain turned to drizzle. And the sun broke through the clouds. What are we going to do with the hotel? Sophia finally asked. Olivia smiled. I have a plan. And you know what? I'm going to need an assistant. Olivia walked into the principal's office. Her steps deliberate. Mrs. Martino, I need to speak to you seriously. I've brought my papers. What's wrong, Olivia? Olivia said, I'm requesting a leave of absence. A month. A month. Mrs. Martino took off her glasses. Olivia placed a folder on the desk. Here are the lesson plans for my classes. I've prepared everything, and I've found a substitute a colleague from the university has agreed to cover for me. Olivia, we've known each other for years. I'm divorcing my husband, and I've inherited a hotel in Greece. Mrs. Martino was silent. Sit down. Tell me everything. In order. An hour later, Olivia left the office with her permission. Her colleagues were waiting for her in the teacher's lounge. It's true? The math teacher asked. You're going to Greece? Yes. I have to get the hotel sorted. And your husband? Another colleague asked cautiously. I've filed for divorce. The room fell silent. Then the literature teacher approached and hugged her. You're doing great. Not everyone has the courage to start over. Thank you, but I'm scared. That's all right, said Mrs. Martino, who had also entered the teacher's lounge. The important thing is that you're doing it for yourself. Marie was waiting for Olivia in the hallway. Well, you got permission. Now we need to meet with the lawyer. The lawyer's office was cool and smelled of coffee. The lawyer looked at the documents. Your husband has significant debts. Yes. And he's seeing someone else. This is important, but it's not the main thing. The main thing is the financial aspect. She said, the hotel is in your name. Yes. It's an inheritance from your aunt. He won't be able to claim it. As for the joint property, Olivia spent 3 hours in the lawyer's office. When she came out, her head ached, but she felt better. That night, Anthony called. You really filed for divorce? And now what? You think you can manage the hotel alone? I'm not alone. I have support. He laughed. Your gym buddies, or our daughter, Who's hanging around her parents' necks? Don't you dare talk about Sophia like that. What else am I supposed to say? She chose your side without even listening to me. She saw you with Isabella at the jewelry store. There was silence on the line. All this is because of her. Isabella. No, Anthony. This is because of you, your lies. Your debts. Your disrespect for me and our family. At that moment, the doorbell rang. Sophia stood in the doorway with a suitcase. Mom, I'm moving in with you. What? And your job? I can work remotely. Besides, she smiled. Someone needs help with the hotel. Olivia, still holding her phone, said, Anthony, we have nothing more to say. From now on, we'll communicate through lawyers. She hung up and hugged her daughter. The kitchen smelled of coffee. Marie was preparing dinner. You know, Sophia said, I'm proud of you. Why? For not giving up, for not selling the hotel, for not accepting his conditions. Later, when Sophia was asleep and Marie had gone home, Olivia took out an old photo album, a picture from her wedding day with Anthony, so young, so happy. Her phone vibrated, a message from Laura. I have a meeting with the designer tomorrow at 10. We'll discuss the reconstruction plan. Are you ready? Olivia looked again at the photo and closed the album. The past had to stay in the past. I'm ready, she replied, and for the first time in a long time, it was the truth. A month passed. The Blue Lagoon was slowly changing. Old furniture was replaced with new pieces, and the walls were adorned with paintings by local artists. Christina, the designer, proved to be a godsend. She knew how to preserve the soul of the hotel while adding modern elements. Olivia was on the terrace when her phone rang. It was Nina's daughter. You have to hear this. There was a terrible scene at the Paradise yesterday. What happened? Isabella had a huge argument with your husband. Turns out, he hasn't paid for the apartment he promised to buy her. The owner is threatening to sue. Olivia sat down, and Anthony, he begged her to understand, said all his accounts were frozen because of the divorce. She yelled that he'd lied to her. Nina's daughter lowered her voice. She said she knew about his other debts, that he'd taken money from his daughter. At that moment, Sophia arrived on the terrace with a laptop. Mom, the first summer reservations are coming in. I'll call you back, Olivia said into the phone. Sophia showed her the screen. Look, 5 rooms already booked, and it's without advertising, just repeat clients. That's great, honey. And how's your work going? Fine. Clients don't care where I work from. It's the result that matters. Suddenly, Sophia tensed. She'd received a message from her father. We need to talk. I'm in a difficult situation. Don't answer, Olivia said. She wasn't going to. You know, when he asked me for a loan, he said it was for an important project that would save his business. But actually, he bought her jewelry and made a down payment on an apartment he can't now afford. An elderly couple, regulars at the Blue Lagoon, approached the terrace. Olivia, we're so happy you're now running the hotel. The man, Mr. Thomas, said, we were afraid you'd sell it. Build something modern and soulless. That won't happen, Olivia smiled. In the evening, Marie arrived. You heard the news about the Paradise scene? Yes. More recent news, Isabella quit. Says she doesn't want to see her husband anymore. Ex-husband, Olivia corrected. They sat on the terrace, looking at the sea as the sun set, painting the sky pink. You know, Marie said, you've changed. Seriously? Yes. It's like you've come alive. Olivia thought about the last month, the sleepless nights reviewing documents, the meetings with suppliers, the joy when the first updated room was ready. I'm not afraid anymore, she said, for the first time in a long time. I know I'm doing the right thing. Her phone vibrated again. This time it was Anthony. Olivia, please, I need your help. The bank is demanding repayment of the loan. Isabella left. I'm not going to save you from your mistakes anymore. But we lived together for 25 years. And you spent the last year lying and cheating. She hung up and turned to Marie. You know what Aunt Eleni once told me. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find yourself. She was a wise woman. Yes, she was. And she knew what she was doing when she left me the hotel. Sophia came out onto the terrace with a tray of coffee. Look, I've learned to make cappuccinos. Laura taught me. Olivia looked at her daughter. The sea, the hotel, now painted in a soft blue. This was her life, now her choice. Her victory. By the way, Marie said, have you seen the latest hotel reviews online? They say there's a special atmosphere here. Olivia smiled. Aunt Eleni always said, a hotel isn't the walls, it's the soul you put into it. Now she understood what she meant. Olivia stood in her classroom for the last time. 5 years, so many memories. So many faces. She ran her hand over the old wooden desk. Are you sure, Mrs. Martino? The principal asked. Retirement isn't far off. If not now, then never, Olivia replied, packing her books into a box. The hotel needs my full commitment. A farewell coffee was organized in the teacher's lounge. A cake was brought. Kind words were spoken. Marie was crying. Who's going to have coffee with me during breaks now? You know where to find me. Olivia smiled. The coffee is even better at the Blue Lagoon. Back home, Sophia helped unpack. It's strange to see all these textbooks in boxes. I'm afraid, Olivia admitted, taking out her first-class notes, of not being able to cope. It's one thing to tell a story, another to run a business. Mom, Sophia hugged her. You've been running the hotel for 3 months. And you know what? You're doing a better job than many professional managers. The next morning, the Blue Lagoon was as busy as ever. The dishwasher in the kitchen was broken. The tap in the third room was dripping. A group of German tourists had arrived a day early. Mrs. Olivia, Maria, the restaurant manager, called. We have a problem with a supplier. Says they've raised the price of seafood again. Olivia sighed. Okay, I'll call Nikos. He always has the freshest prawns. Maybe we can reach an agreement. At reception, an elderly couple was arguing with the receptionist. We booked a room with a sea view. The man said, perhaps I can help? Olivia intervened. Half an hour later, the couple was smiling, having received a free breakfast and the promise of a room change the next day. How do you do it? The young administrator asked in amazement. Years of working with parents. Olivia smiled. Believe me, it was harder. In the afternoon, Laura arrived with the financial reports. The first month after the renovation showed good results. But there was a problem. The bank wanted more guarantees for the spa loan. Olivia's teacher's salary was gone. And the hotel didn't yet have stable income. Olivia felt a chill. What do we do? There's an option. Laura spread out the papers. We can postpone the spa until next season. Focus on what we have. Show the bank that we're stable. And the roof repair is a priority. We have enough money for that. Olivia looked out the window. Sophia was on the terrace, doing a photo shoot for the hotel's new website. She'd left her city apartment to help with the business, combining her work as a web designer with her duties as assistant manager. The phone rang. Anthony. Olivia hung up. He keeps calling, Laura said, almost every day since that visit a month ago. I saw him at the hotel. He looked thin, in a wrinkled suit. He asked for money, talked about a second chance. The bank sued him for loan default. And Isabella left with another man. You know, Sophia said, he deserved it all. That night, when most of the guests had gone to their rooms, Olivia sat in her office. In front of her was her work notebook, 25 years of experience as a history teacher. And a new entry, manager, Blue Lagoon Hotel. A knock came at the door. And Marie entered. How are you? Strange. Today was the first day I woke up and didn't have to rush to my first class. Do you regret it? Sometimes it's scary. It's normal. Marie sat beside her. You know what a student said to me today? It's so great that Mrs. Burns is finally going after her dream. My dream? Yes. I always told the children about Greece, the sea, ancient legends. And now I'm living it. On the terrace, Georgios, the chef, was preparing the tables for tomorrow's breakfast. The kitchen smelled of fresh baking. The night porter was doing his rounds, checking the locks. The phone rang, this time from Mrs. Martino. How's your new life going? Good. You know, Olivia said, the history teacher job will always be mine. If I need it. I know. I just wanted you to know you can always count on us. After the conversation, Olivia went out onto the terrace. The sea roared below, and the stars shone in the sky. She took out her old teacher's diary. The last entry was about an ancient Greek history exam. Mom, Sophia brought coffee. Look how well the photos for the website turned out. They sat on the terrace for a long time, talking about future plans. The spa can wait, but we can update the menu, add excursions, organize Greek cooking evenings. You know, Sophia said suddenly, I'm proud of you. Why? For not being afraid to change everything. For leaving your stable job and starting a new life. Olivia looked at the sea. Beyond the waves, a new day, a new chapter in her life, was beginning. By the way, Sophia added, we got a call from a travel agency. They want to sign a contract for next season. Really? Yes. They say we have a special atmosphere. And you know what's most interesting? They were especially interested in your nighttime stories about Greek history. Olivia smiled. Maybe she hadn't stopped being a teacher, it was just that now her class was larger. And her lessons were more interesting. A message arrived on her phone from Marie. Coffee tomorrow? Tell me your new adventures. Of course, Olivia replied, but now you're my guest. For the first time in a long time, she felt completely secure in her choice. Exactly a year had passed since the night Olivia learned the truth about Anthony. The Blue Lagoon was preparing for the new tourist season. Sophia sat at the computer, checking reservations. On the table were documents from the bank. The loan for the spa had finally been approved. The hotel was recording stable income, and all payments were made on time. The day was filled with the usual problems. The generator broke down. A newlywed couple complained about the noise from the next room. The vegetable supplier raised prices again. Marie arrived in the afternoon. Heard the news about Anthony? He's leaving the house. I know. His lawyer called and asked me to waive my share. And what did you do? I refused. He should give the money to the bank. He still has many debts. That night, Olivia sat in her office, looking at old photographs herself as a young teacher on her first day at school. Her wedding with Anthony, little Sophia on the Blue Lagoon beach, Aunt Eleni on the hotel terrace. Mom, Sophia brought coffee. Have you seen the forecast? It'll be good weather tomorrow for a barbecue. That's great. I'll have to tell Georgios to prepare the marinade. They sat on the terrace, looking at the sea. Down in the restaurant, there was live music, and guests were dancing. You know what a tourist said today? Sophia asked. He said he felt like he was home here. Olivia smiled. That was exactly what she wanted, to create a place where people felt at home. The phone rang. A travel agency inquiring about bookings for next year. Really? Olivia was surprised. Yes, the agent replied. Your hotel has become very popular, especially after the article in the travel magazine. After the call, she looked at the sea for a long time. A year ago, everything seemed so terrifying, leaving my job, starting a new life, trusting myself. What are you thinking about? Sophia asked. How strange it all turned out. When Aunt Eleni left me the hotel, I thought it was the end, but it turned out to be the beginning, a new beginning. Agreed, Sophia said. By the way, the designers are coming tomorrow to discuss the spa project. Olivia nodded. She had future plans, dreams, goals, but above all, she had confidence in herself. The kitchen smelled of freshly baked bread. Georgios was preparing the tables for the morning's guests. At reception, a young couple checked in. The maids distributed fresh towels. This was her world, her home, her victory. Her phone vibrated. A message from Marie. Coffee tomorrow? Of course, Olivia replied. Now you're my guest. For the first time in a long time, she felt completely secure in her choice. Exactly a year had passed since the night Olivia learned the truth about Anthony. The Blue Lagoon was preparing for the new tourist season. Sophia sat at the computer, checking reservations. On the table were documents from the bank. The loan for the spa had finally been approved. The hotel was recording stable income, and all payments were made on time. The day was full of the usual problems: a generator malfunction, a noisy room complaint, a vegetable supplier price hike. Marie arrived in the afternoon. Heard the news about Anthony? He's been evicted from the house. I know. His lawyer called and asked me to waive my share. And what did you do? I refused. He should give the money to the bank. He still has many debts. That night, Olivia sat in her office, looking at old photographs herself as a young teacher. Her wedding with Anthony, little Sophia on the beach, Aunt Eleni on the terrace. Mom, Sophia brought coffee. Have you seen the forecast? It'll be good weather tomorrow for a barbecue. That's great. I'll have to tell Georgios to prepare the marinade. They sat on the terrace, looking at the sea. Down in the restaurant, there was live music, and guests were dancing. You know what a tourist said today? Sophia asked. He said he felt like he was home here. Olivia smiled. That was exactly what she wanted, to create a place where people felt at home. The phone rang. A travel agency inquiring about bookings for next year. Olivia was surprised. Yes, the agent replied. Your hotel has become very popular, especially after the article in the travel magazine. After the call, she looked at the sea for a long time. A year ago, everything seemed so terrifying, leaving my job, starting a new life, trusting myself. What are you thinking about? Sophia asked. How strange it all turned out. When Aunt Eleni left me the hotel, I thought it was the end, but it turned out to be the beginning, a new beginning. Agreed, Sophia said. By the way, the designers are coming tomorrow to discuss the spa project. Olivia nodded. She had future plans, dreams, goals, but above all, she had confidence in herself. The kitchen smelled of freshly baked bread. Georgios was preparing the tables for the morning's guests. At reception, a young couple checked in. The maids distributed fresh towels. This was her world, her home, her victory. Her phone vibrated a message from Marie. Coffee tomorrow? Of course, Olivia replied. Now you're my guest. For the first time in a long time, she felt completely secure in her choice.